A poor single mom arrived late to a Christmas blind date. But the black CEO waited for her Laurel. Winters checked her phone for the 15th time in 10 minutes, her heart sinking further with each passing second. 6:47 p.m. She was supposed to meet her blind date at 6:30 at Marcello's, one of Denver's nicest Italian restaurants, and she was still 20 minutes away on a bus that was crawling through holiday traffic. Come on, she whispered, pressing her forehead against the cold window. Christmas lights blurred past, twinkling mockingly at her stress. Her blonde hair, which she'd carefully styled that afternoon, was coming loose from its pins. The dress she'd borrowed from her coworker Wanda already felt wrong. Too fancy, too tight, too much like she was pretending to be someone she wasn't. This whole blind date was a terrible idea. Her best friend Nina had insisted, "Laurel, you need to get back out there. It's been 2 years since Todd left. You deserve to have some adult fun that doesn't involve serving hash browns at 5 a.m. I have a 6-year-old daughter, Nina. I work double shifts at the diner. When exactly do I have time for dating? Christmas Eve. You have Christmas Eve off for once. Mrs. Patterson already said she'd watch Ruby. This guy is perfect for you. Successful, kind, gorgeous. Just meet him. One dinner. If it's horrible, you never have to see him again." Laurel had agreed mostly to stop Nina's nagging. But now, staring at the time and calculating that she'd be at least 45 minutes late, she wondered if her date would even still be there. What kind of successful man waited almost an hour for a woman he'd never met? The answer, Laurel figured, was none. He'd probably already left, and she'd have wasted her one night off and Mrs. Patterson's babysitting for nothing. The bus finally reached her stop at 7:05 p.m. Laurel practically ran the 2 blocks to Marcello's, her heels borrowed from Wanda along with the dress, pinching her feet with every step. She burst through the restaurant's ornate doors, breathless and disheveled, expecting to find an empty hostess stand and a canceled reservation. Instead, she found Cordelia, the elegant restaurant manager, waiting with a knowing smile. "Ms. Winters, your date is still here. Right this way." Laurel froze. "He's still here? But I'm so late. He said to tell you he'd wait as long as necessary. He seemed quite certain you'd arrive." Cordelia led her through the restaurant, past tables filled with couples in expensive clothes, past Christmas decorations that probably cost more than Laurel's monthly rent. And there, at a corner table with a view of downtown Denver's Christmas lights, sat the most handsome man Laurel had ever seen. He was black, probably in his mid-30s, with a close-cropped beard and kind eyes that lit up when he saw her. He wore a perfectly tailored navy suit that screamed wealth and success, but his smile was warm and genuine as he stood to greet her. "Laurel?" he asked, extending his hand. "I'm Quincy Hale. It's wonderful to finally meet you." "I'm so sorry," Laurel blurted out before even shaking his hand. "I'm so sorry I'm late. The bus broke down, and then there was traffic, and I tried to call, but I don't have your number, just Nina's, and—" "Breathe," Quincy said gently, pulling out her chair. "It's fine, really. I'm just glad you made it safely." Laurel sat, still flustered, acutely aware of how out of place she looked. Her dress was nice by her standards, but compared to the designer gowns on other women in the restaurant, it was clearly cheap. Her shoes were scuffed. Her hair was a mess. And this man, this impossibly handsome, patient man, probably regretted waiting the moment he saw her. "You took the bus?" Quincy asked, settling back into his seat. That must have been stressful in holiday traffic. "My car died 3 months ago. I've been saving for a new one, but between rent and daycare and everything else..." Laurel stopped herself. This was a first date. She shouldn't be talking about her financial struggles. "Sorry, that's probably too much information." "It's not. I appreciate honesty." Quincy poured her a glass of water from the bottle on the table. "Nina told me you're a single mom. That can't be easy, especially around the holidays." Laurel took a grateful sip of water, trying to calm her nerves. "Ruby's 6. She's amazing. A little obsessed with dinosaurs right now, which means I know way more about pterodactyls than I ever expected to learn." Quincy laughed, and the sound was warm and genuine. "Pterodactyls are technically not dinosaurs, though. They're flying reptiles. See, that's exactly the kind of thing Ruby would say. She'd love you." Laurel immediately regretted those words. Too forward, too familiar. She barely knew this man, but Quincy's smile widened. I'd love to meet her sometime, if this goes well. A server appeared, a young man named Antonio who clearly recognized Quincy and treated him with the deference reserved for important customers. "Mr. Hale, good to see you again. Would you like to start with your usual?" "Actually, I'll let the lady decide." Quincy passed Laurel the menu. "Order anything you'd like. I recommend the lobster ravioli, but everything here is excellent." Laurel opened the menu and immediately felt her stomach drop. No prices were listed, which meant everything was expensive. Very expensive. The kind of expensive where if you had to ask, you couldn't afford it. "I'm not very hungry," Laurel lied. She'd skipped lunch to save money, and her stomach was growling, but she couldn't let this man, this stranger really, pay for an expensive meal when she knew she'd never be able to reciprocate. Quincy studied her for a moment, his expression thoughtful. "Laurel, I invited you to dinner. That means I'm paying, and I'd like you to order something you'll actually enjoy. Please, it would make me happy to share a meal with you." There was something in his voice. No condescension, no pity, just genuine kindness that made Laurel's resistance crumble. "The chicken marsala sounds good." "Excellent choice. Antonio, the lady will have the chicken marsala, and I'll take my usual. Also, bring us the bruschetta appetizer and a bottle of the Chianti Classico." After Antonio left, Quincy leaned back in his chair, giving Laurel his full attention. "So, Nina tells me you're working at Fletcher's Diner. How long have you been there?" 4 years. Since right before Ruby was born. It's not glamorous, but it pays the bills. Mostly." Laurel twisted her napkin nervously. "What about you? Nina said you're a CEO of Hale Technologies. We develop software solutions for healthcare systems. It's been my focus for the past decade." A CEO? Of course he was. Laurel had agreed to this blind date thinking Nina was exaggerating, that successful meant middle management or a good sales job. Not CEO of a technology company, not someone who clearly belonged in restaurants like this while she belonged at diners with plastic menus. "That sounds impressive," Laurel said, trying not to let her discomfort show. "And probably very different from serving eggs and coffee." "Different, yes. Better? I'm not sure. You provide a service that people need every day. You make their mornings better, start their days off right. That matters, Laurel. More than most people acknowledge." The sincerity in his voice surprised her. "Most people don't see waitressing that way. My ex-husband certainly didn't. He said I was wasting my potential, settling for mediocrity." "Your ex-husband sounds like an idiot. No offense. None taken. He is an idiot." Laurel smiled for the first time since arriving. "He left 2 years ago for his secretary. Very original. Took most of our savings and left me with Ruby and a mountain of debt." "I'm sorry. That must have been devastating." "It was. But Ruby and I are better off without him. We have each other, and we're making it work." Their appetizer arrived, and as they shared bruschetta and talked, Laurel felt herself relaxing. Quincy was easy to talk to, asking questions that showed genuine interest in her life. He didn't flinch when she mentioned living in a one-bedroom apartment in the cheapest part of town. He didn't judge when she admitted she'd dropped out of college when she got pregnant. He just listened, engaged, and made her feel like her story mattered. "Can I ask you something?" Laurel said between bites of her marsala, which was the best thing she'd eaten in months. "Why did you wait for me? You could have left after 20 minutes, and no one would have blamed you." Quincy set down his fork, considering his answer. "Honestly, because Nina told me you're reliable, hardworking, and a wonderful mother. Those aren't qualities of someone who'd blow off a date intentionally, so I figured something happened, something beyond your control, and I wanted to meet you badly enough to wait." "Why?" "I'm a broke single mom who takes the bus and works at a diner. You're a CEO. We don't exactly run in the same circles. Maybe that's exactly why I wanted to meet you." Quincy's eyes held hers. "Laurel, I spend my days surrounded by people who want something from me. Business connections, investments, introductions to other wealthy people. It's exhausting. When Nina described you, a woman who's fighting to build a good life for her daughter, who hasn't let circumstances break her spirit, that sounded refreshing. Real. Real is one word for it. Messy is another. I like messy. Perfect is boring." As dinner progressed, Laurel learned more about Quincy Hale. He'd grown up in Atlanta, the son of a schoolteacher mother and a mechanic father. His father, Roger Hale, had worked 3 jobs to put Quincy and his sister Jasmine through college. Quincy had started his company in his 20s with a small business loan and a lot of determination. "My dad sacrificed everything for us," Quincy said, his voice thick with emotion. "He worked himself to exhaustion so we could have opportunities he never had. When Hale Technologies finally became profitable, the first thing I did was pay off his mortgage and send him and my mom on a vacation to Hawaii. They'd never been on a real vacation their entire marriage." "That's beautiful," Laurel said softly. "Ruby and we're just trying to make it month to month right now. I can't imagine being able to give her that kind of security. You're giving her something more valuable. You're showing her what resilience looks like, what it means to keep fighting even when things are hard. That's a lesson money can't teach. You're very kind. But Quincy, I need to be honest with you. I can barely afford my rent. My car is dead. I work double shifts just to keep Ruby in decent clothes and make sure she has Christmas presents tomorrow. Whatever you're looking for in a relationship, I don't know if I can provide it. What do you think I'm looking for? I don't know. Someone from your world? Someone who understands business dinners and charity galas and whatever else wealthy people do?" Quincy reached across the table, covering her hand with his. The gesture was gentle, but it sent electricity through Laurel's entire body. "Laurel, I've been to 1,000 business dinners. I've dated women from my world, as you put it. Want to know what I learned? What? That wealth doesn't equal substance. I've met millionaires with empty hearts and waitresses with more wisdom than entire boardrooms. What I'm looking for is someone genuine, someone who's lived real life and hasn't lost their kindness. Someone," he paused, his thumb gently stroking her hand, "someone like you." Laurel felt tears threatening. "You don't know me. Then let me get to know you. That's what dating is, right? Learning about each other? But the differences between us are just circumstances. Laurel, yes, I have money and you don't right now. Yes, we come from different backgrounds, but I see strength in you. I see determination. I see a woman who's building a life for her daughter despite every obstacle. That's attractive. That's rare. And that's what I want to know more about." Before Laurel could respond, her phone buzzed. She glanced at it and felt her heart sink. Mrs. Patterson, her neighbor who was babysitting Ruby. "I'm so sorry. I need to take this." "Of course," Laurel answered. "Mrs. Patterson, is everything okay?" "Oh, Laurel, dear, I'm so sorry to bother you. Ruby's running a bit of a fever. It's probably nothing, just the cold that's been going around. But I thought you should know. She's asking for you." Laurel's stomach dropped. Ruby was sick, and she was here at an expensive restaurant on a date. What kind of mother was she? "I'm on my way. Give me 45 minutes. "Take your time, dear. She's fine, just wants her mama." Laurel hung up and looked at Quincy, her eyes apologetic. "I have to go. Ruby's sick. I'm so sorry. This has been wonderful, but..." "Say no more. Let's get you home." Quincy was already signaling for Antonio. "Can you have the kitchen box up our desserts to go? And call my driver, please." "Your driver? I'm not letting you take a bus when your daughter is sick. My car is here. We'll get you home quickly. I can't ask you to do that." "You're not asking. I'm offering." Quincy paid the bill. Laurel deliberately didn't look at the total. And within minutes, they were in the back of a sleek black Mercedes, heading toward her neighborhood. The contrast between Quincy's world and hers became painfully apparent as they drove. They left the glittering downtown area, passed through middle-class suburbs, and entered the part of Denver where buildings were older, streets darker, and poverty more visible. Laurel watched Quincy's face for signs of judgment, but his expression remained neutral. "Kind, even." "That's my building," Laurel said, pointing to a run-down apartment complex with peeling paint and flickering security lights. "You can drop me anywhere. I'll walk you up." "You really don't have to." "Laurel, it's late. Your daughter is sick, and I'd like to make sure you get inside safely. Please, let me be a gentleman." The driver pulled up to the entrance. Quincy opened Laurel's door and walked her to the building's entrance, carrying the bag with their to-go desserts. "Thank you," Laurel said, suddenly shy. "For dinner, for waiting, for understanding about Ruby. It was really special. Can I call you tomorrow? Check on Ruby, maybe make plans for another date if you're interested. You'd want to see me again. Very much. If you're open to it." Laurel found herself nodding, a smile breaking across her face. "I'd like that." Quincy handed her the dessert bag. Then, surprising both of them, leaned in and kissed her cheek gently. "Merry Christmas, Laurel. Take care of your daughter. I'll talk to you soon." Hello, my Stop Racism family. Thank you for tuning in today. Before we dive deeper into this beautiful love story, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments below. Also, I'd love to know your thoughts. What did you think of the story so far? Do you believe love can truly conquer prejudice? Let us know in the comments. We love reading them. And trust me, your words motivate us to keep making these videos. Let's make this video reach at least 50 comments. Your support means the world to us, and it drives us to create even more meaningful content for you. So don't forget to comment, share, and keep spreading love. Christmas morning arrived with Ruby jumping on Laurel's bed at 6 a.m., her fever broken and her energy fully restored. "Mama, Santa came. Can we open presents?" Laurel groaned, having gotten maybe 4 hours of sleep after sitting up with Ruby most of the night. But seeing her daughter's excitement made the exhaustion worthwhile. "Yes, baby. Let me make coffee first." Their Christmas was modest. A few toys Laurel had found on sale, some books from the thrift store, and one big present, a stuffed triceratops Ruby had been begging for. But Ruby's joy was infinite, her squeals of delight echoing through their small apartment as she tore into wrapping paper. "Mama, look, Triceratops, he's perfect." Ruby clutched the dinosaur, already naming him. "His name is Quincy." Laurel choked on her coffee. "What?" "Quincy. It's a good name for a dinosaur." "Where did you hear that name?" "Mrs. Patterson told me about your date with a man named Quincy. She said he was very nice and very handsome." "Is he your boyfriend?" "Ruby, I met him once." "But do you like him?" Laurel thought about the previous evening. Quincy's patience, his kindness, the way he'd looked at her like she mattered. "Yeah, baby, I like him." "Then maybe he can be your boyfriend, and Triceratops can be named after him." The logic of 6-year-olds was unassailable. Laurel laughed, pulling Ruby into a hug. "Maybe so." Around noon, her phone rang. An unknown number. Laurel answered cautiously. "Hello? Laurel? It's Quincy. Merry Christmas. How's Ruby?" Just hearing his voice made Laurel smile. "She's much better. Currently having a tea party with her new Triceratops, who she's named after you." "She named a dinosaur after me? That's the best Christmas present I've gotten." "What did you get? Besides dinosaur namesake status?" "Honestly, not much. My sister Jasmine invited me to Atlanta for the day, but I'm not much for big family gatherings. I usually spend Christmas alone, catching up on work." The thought of Quincy alone on Christmas made Laurel's heart ache. "That sounds lonely." "It is, but I'm used to it. Comes with the territory of being successful and single. Well, you shouldn't be alone today." The words came out before Laurel could stop them. "If you want, you could come over. I mean, it's nothing fancy. We're just going to watch Christmas movies and eat leftover pizza, but I'd love to." Quincy's response was immediate. "If you're sure you don't mind." "I'm sure. But fair warning, my apartment is small, Ruby asks a million questions, and I only have basic cable. It's not exactly the Christmas you're probably used to." "It sounds perfect. Text me your address. I'll be there in an hour." After hanging up, Laurel looked around her tiny apartment with fresh eyes. The second-hand furniture, the peeling wallpaper, the kitchen that barely fit 2 people. This was her reality, and Quincy was about to see all of it. "Mama, why are you cleaning?" Ruby asked, watching Laurel frantically pick up toys. "We're having a guest. The man I had dinner with yesterday is coming over." "Quincy!" Ruby clutched her Triceratops. "This is so cool. Can I wear my dinosaur shirt?" "Absolutely. Go change." 90 minutes later, because of course Quincy arrived exactly when he said, Laurel opened her door to find him standing there in jeans and a casual sweater, holding 2 shopping bags and looking slightly nervous. "Hi. I brought, well, I wasn't sure what to bring, so I got a few things." He held up the bags, juice boxes, some snacks, and a few toys for Ruby if that's okay. I didn't want to overstep, but I passed a toy store and... "Quincy, you didn't have to do that." "I wanted to. Can I come in?" Ruby appeared behind Laurel, clutching her Triceratops and staring at Quincy with wide eyes. "You're really tall." Quincy laughed, kneeling to Ruby's level. "Hi, Ruby. I'm Quincy. Your mom told me you like dinosaurs." "I love dinosaurs. Look, this is Quincy Triceratops. I named him after you because Mama said you're nice." Quincy glanced at Laurel, his eyes dancing with amusement. Did she now? She said you waited for her even though she was late. That's what nice people do. Your mama is pretty special, worth waiting for. Laurel felt her cheeks heat as Quincy stood, their eyes meeting with an intensity that made her forget Ruby was watching. The afternoon unfolded naturally. They watched How the Grinch Stole Christmas while eating pizza. Quincy ended up on the floor with Ruby, building an elaborate dinosaur world out of blocks. He asked Ruby about her favorite dinosaurs, listened to her long explanations about different species, and genuinely seemed to enjoy her company. "You're good with kids," Laurel observed from the couch. "I like kids. They're honest. They don't care about money or status. They just want someone to play dinosaurs with them." "Ruby really likes you." "The feeling is mutual." Quincy glanced at her. "And I really like her mother." The week between Christmas and New Year's passed in a blur. Quincy called every day, texting throughout whenever Laurel had a break. At work, they managed 2 more dates. One a walk through a Christmas light display, another a casual lunch at a cafe near Laurel's apartment. Each time, Laurel felt herself falling harder. Quincy was thoughtful, bringing Ruby small gifts when he visited. He never made Laurel feel inadequate about her financial situation. And he was patient with her complicated schedule, understanding when she had to cancel because of work or because Mrs. Patterson couldn't babysit. But reality was always lurking. Laurel's co-worker Wanda noticed the change immediately. "You've got that glow," Wanda said one morning at Fletcher's diner, refilling coffee for the early crowd. "The I'm falling for someone glow." "Tell me about this mystery man." "His name is Quincy. We met on a blind date. And he's amazing. Kind, patient, good with Ruby." "What does he do?" Laurel hesitated. "He's a CEO. Wanda nearly dropped her coffee pot. "A CEO? Girl, you landed a CEO." "It's not like that." "What's he look like?" "He's black, tall, incredibly handsome." "So you're dating a rich, handsome black CEO." Wanda whistled low. "Honey, you know what people are going to say, right?" "What people?" "Everyone. They're going to say you're using him for money. They're going to say he's got a white girl fetish. They're going to judge the hell out of both of you." "I don't care what people say." "Maybe you don't now, but you will when it gets ugly. Trust me. Interracial relationships are hard enough without adding massive wealth gaps." Laurel wanted to argue, but Wanda's words stuck with her. That evening, when Quincy called, she finally voiced her concerns. "Can I ask you something honestly?" "Anything." "Why are you really interested in me?" "I keep trying to figure it out, and I can't. You could date anyone. Successful women, educated women, women who understand your world. Why a broke single mom?" Quincy was quiet for a moment. "Do you want the truth?" "Always." "Because you're real, Laurel. I've dated successful women, educated women, women who supposedly understand my world. And you know what? Most of them saw me as a prize to be won. They liked the idea of dating a wealthy CEO. They liked my car, my house, my connections. But they didn't see me. They didn't care that I'm lonely, that I work too much because I don't have anything else, that I'm terrified I'll end up like my father, working myself to death without ever really living. Quincy, with you, it's different. You see me, the actual me. You ask about my day, what I'm working on, how I'm feeling. You're not impressed by my money. If anything, it makes you uncomfortable, which is refreshing. And Laurel, you're strong in ways that have nothing to do with money. You're raising an amazing daughter. You're working hard to build a life. You haven't let circumstances break you. That's what attracts me to you. But the differences between us are just money. And money is the least important thing about a person. That's easy to say when you have it. You're right. I'm sorry. That was insensitive." Quincy sighed. "Look, I know this is complicated. I know people will judge us. For the racial difference, for the wealth gap, for everything. But Laurel, I'm willing to face that if you are. Because I think we could have something real here. Something worth fighting for. I want to believe that. Then believe it. And let me take you out on New Year's Eve. A real date. Somewhere special. Let me show you that this is serious for me." Laurel agreed, even though her anxiety was building. New Year's Eve meant leaving Ruby overnight. Mrs. Patterson had offered to keep her, and it meant a formal event. Quincy had mentioned his company was hosting a party at the Crawford Hotel, Denver's most exclusive venue. I don't have anything to wear to something like that, Laurel had admitted. Let me handle it. Please, I want to do this. New Year's Eve arrived with Laurel more nervous than she'd been for their first date. A dress had been delivered to her apartment 2 days prior, a stunning midnight blue gown that fit perfectly and probably cost more than 3 months of her rent. There were shoes, jewelry, everything she needed. You look like a princess, Mama, Ruby declared when Laurel emerged from the bathroom, fully dressed. You think so? You're the prettiest mama ever. Quincy is going to think so too. Mrs. Patterson agreed when she arrived to watch Ruby. Oh, Laurel, you're beautiful. That man is very lucky. I'm the lucky one, Laurel said, but she was trembling as Quincy's driver arrived to collect her. The Crawford Hotel was everything Laurel feared. Opulent, exclusive, filled with people who radiated wealth and sophistication. Quincy met her in the lobby, and the way his face lit up when he saw her made every ounce of anxiety worth it. You're stunning, he breathed, taking her hand. Absolutely stunning. So are you. And he was. In a perfectly tailored black tuxedo, Quincy looked like he'd stepped out of a magazine. The party was overwhelming. Quincy introduced her to what felt like hundreds of people. His business partner Brent, his executive assistant Elena, various board members and investors. Most were polite, some were curious, and a few were openly judgmental. So you're Quincy's new girlfriend, one woman, a board member named Claudette, said, her tone icy. How did you two meet? Blind date, Laurel answered simply. How interesting. And what do you do, dear? I'm a waitress at Fletcher's Diner. Claudette's eyebrows rose. I see. Well, that's very noble. After Claudette walked away, Quincy squeezed Laurel's hand. Ignore her. She's miserable. She thinks I'm after your money. She thinks everyone is after something. Don't let it bother you. But as the evening progressed, Laurel couldn't shake the feeling of being out of place. She didn't understand the business. Discussions couldn't contribute to conversations about stock portfolios and international investments. She was adrift in a world that wasn't hers, clinging to Quincy like a life raft. Then she saw him, Todd, her ex-husband, across the room with his new wife. Oh, God, Laurel whispered. What's wrong? That's Todd, my ex, with his wife Bethany. Do you want to leave? No, I didn't expect to see him here. But Todd had seen her too. He approached with Bethany on his arm, his expression a mix of surprise and condescension. Laurel, what are you doing here? I'm here with my boyfriend. Todd, this is Quincy Hale. Quincy, my ex-husband Todd, and his wife Bethany. Todd's eyes widened in recognition. Quincy Hale? Of Hale Technologies? Laurel, how did you... We met through a friend, Quincy said smoothly, his arm sliding protectively around Laurel's waist. It's been a pleasure getting to know her and Ruby. You've met Ruby? Todd looked genuinely shocked. Laurel, can we talk? Privately? Before Laurel could refuse, Todd was pulling her aside, leaving Quincy and Bethany in awkward silence. What are you doing? Todd hissed once they were alone. You're dating a billionaire? Are you serious? Why do you care? Because you're using our daughter to trap him. That's low, even for you. Laurel felt rage building. I'm not using anyone. Quincy and I met by chance, and we have a genuine connection. Not that you'd understand genuine connection. You cheated on me with your secretary. I made a mistake. But Laurel, be realistic. A man like Quincy Hale doesn't seriously date waitresses. He's probably just having fun, and when he's done, you'll be left heartbroken with Ruby thinking she's getting a new daddy. You don't know anything about Quincy or our relationship. I know men like him. They don't marry down. You're a phase, Laurel. A walk on the poor side. Eventually, he'll go back to dating women from his own world. The words hit harder than Laurel wanted to admit, because they echoed her own fears. Before she could respond, Quincy appeared. Is everything all right? His eyes were on Todd, protective and slightly dangerous. We're fine, Todd said quickly. Just catching up. Congratulations on your success, Mr. Hale, and good luck with... He glanced at Laurel. Everything. After Todd left, Quincy took Laurel's face in his hands. Whatever he said, don't believe it. He said you're just having fun with me, that eventually you'll move on to someone from your own world. Your ex-husband is an idiot who threw away the best thing that ever happened to him. Laurel, I'm not playing games. This is real for me. How can I be sure? Everyone here thinks I'm a gold digger. Everyone assumes I'm using you. I don't think that. My opinion is the only one that matters. But what if they're right? What if I am just a phase? Quincy was quiet for a moment, then took her hand. Come with me. He led her through the party, past the judging stairs and whispered conversations, out onto the hotel's rooftop terrace. It was freezing, but Denver's skyline sparkled around them, and they were finally alone. Laurel, I need you to hear this. Really hear it. Quincy took both her hands. I'm falling in love with you, not with some fantasy version of you, but with the real woman, the single mom who works double shifts and takes the bus. The woman who named her daughters Triceratops after a guy she'd met once. The woman who arrived 45 minutes late to our first date and still managed to be the most beautiful person I'd ever seen. That's who I'm falling for. Quincy, I know we're from different worlds. I know there are obstacles. Money, race, social class. I know people will judge us. But I also know that what I feel when I'm with you is real. You make me want to be better. To do more than just work and accumulate wealth. You make me feel seen. And I hope, I make you feel that way too. Tears streamed down Laurel's face. You do? God, you do. I've never felt this way about anyone. Then let's stop listening to what other people think we should do and just be together. Really together. No more doubting, no more second guessing. Just us, figuring this out. Are you saying? I'm saying I want this to be real. Official. I want to be your boyfriend, if you'll have me. I want to be in Ruby's life. Help you with whatever you need. Build something lasting. What do you say? Laurel's answer was a kiss. Desperate, passionate, filled with months of suppressed longing. When they broke apart, both were crying and laughing. Is that a yes? Quincy asked, his forehead pressed to hers. That's definitely a yes. The first 3 months of their official relationship were a crash course in navigating two vastly different worlds. Quincy met Laurel's small circle. Nina, who took credit for the entire relationship. Wanda, who warned him that if he hurt Laurel, she'd hunt him down. And Laurel's brother Hunter, who showed up unannounced to give Quincy the protective brother interrogation. You're rich, Hunter said bluntly over beers at Laurel's apartment while she put Ruby to bed. My sister's poor. How's that going to work? By communicating and respecting each other, Quincy answered calmly. Money's a tool, not a personality trait. Easy to say when you have it. Look, I don't know you, but I know my sister's been through hell. Her ex destroyed her self-esteem, her finances, her ability to trust. If you're not serious about her, leave now before you cause more damage. I'm serious, more serious than I've been about anyone. Prove it. And Quincy did. He showed up to Ruby's school play, a production of The Three Little Pigs, where Ruby played the big bad wolf with enthusiastic growling. He helped Laurel fix her broken heater when her landlord refused, spending an entire Saturday in her cramped apartment wrestling with pipes. He picked up Ruby from school when Laurel's shift ran late, earning him devoted worship from a 6-year-old who declared him the best boyfriend ever. But he also introduced Laurel to his world. She met his sister Jasmine over brunch, a meeting Laurel dreaded, but that turned out surprisingly well. So, you're the woman my brother can't stop talking about, Jasmine said, her tone warm. He's different since he met you. Happier, more grounded. I'm just me, Laurel said nervously. I'm not special. You are to him. And honestly, it's refreshing. Quincy's dated some real pieces of work. Women who saw dollar signs, not a person. You're different. Because I'm poor? Laurel couldn't keep the bitterness from her voice. Because you're genuine. Laurel, I know this is complicated. I know people judge you for dating my brother, and they judge him for dating you. But the way he looks at you, that's real love. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Laurel also met Quincy's father, Roger Hale, during a visit to Atlanta. Roger was in his 60s, a mechanic who'd recently retired after decades of backbreaking work. He studied Laurel with kind eyes that reminded her of Quincy's. My son tells me you're a hard worker, Roger said. That you're raising your daughter alone, making it work despite everything. I try my best, sir. That's all anyone can do. Laurel, I'm going to be direct with you. People are going to have opinions about you and Quincy. Black folks will say he should have chosen a black woman. White folks will say you're after his money. Everyone will have something to say. Can you handle that? I'm learning to. It's not easy. It never is. My wife and I face different challenges. class issues, family disapproval, but we made it work because we loved each other more than we cared about other people's opinions. You and Quincy need to decide if your love is stronger than the judgment, because there will always be judgment. I love your son. I know it's fast, and I know it seems unlikely, but I do. Then fight for him, and let him fight for you. That's what real love looks like. Two people in each other's corner, no matter what. The crisis came in March. 3 months into their relationship, Ruby got sick, really sick. What started as a cold spiraled into pneumonia, landing her in Children's Hospital with a dangerously high fever and struggling lungs. Laurel was beside herself. She'd called in sick to work, losing much-needed income, and was living at the hospital, terrified to leave Ruby's side. The medical bills were piling up, and even with her basic insurance, the costs were overwhelming. Quincy appeared on the second day, having driven straight from a business meeting in Colorado Springs. He found Laurel in the hospital cafeteria, drinking terrible coffee and looking like she hadn't slept in days. "Why didn't you call me?" His voice was gentle but hurt. "I didn't want to bother you. You have work." "Laurel, your daughter is in the hospital. Nothing is more important than that, than you. I should have been here from the beginning. I can handle it. You shouldn't have to handle it alone." That's what relationships are, showing up for each other when things are hard. Over the next week, Quincy became a constant presence. He brought Laurel food, made sure she ate. He sat with Ruby when Laurel needed to shower or stretch her legs. He handled the insurance company when they tried to deny coverage, his CEO voice cutting through their bureaucratic nonsense with impressive efficiency. And he paid the bills, all of them. When Laurel found out, confronted by the hospital billing department saying her balance was zero, she went looking for Quincy, finding him in Ruby's room reading her a story while she slept. "You paid my daughter's medical bills." It wasn't a question. "Yes, that was $30,000, Quincy. $30,000. Money I have and you don't. Money that was going to cause you months of stress and potentially bankruptcy. Why wouldn't I pay it? Because it's not your responsibility. Ruby's not my biological daughter. But Laurel, she's become important to me. You're important to me, and I'm not going to stand by and watch you drown financially when I have the means to help. I can't pay you back. I don't want you to pay me back. This isn't a loan. It's me taking care of people He stopped and then decided to be brave. "People I love." Laurel felt tears streaming down her face. "You love us? I love you. Both of you. Is that okay?" Instead of answering, Laurel kissed him, and it was different from every other kiss they'd shared. It was gratitude and love and desperation and relief all mixed together. When Ruby woke up later, she found them both beside her bed. "Quincy, you're here." "I'm here, kiddo. I brought you something." He pulled out a new stuffed dinosaur, a stegosaurus this time, to keep Quincy Triceratops company. "What's his name?" "That's up to you." Ruby thought for a moment, then smiled. "His name is Love, because that's what you give Mama. Love." Both adults started crying, and Ruby looked concerned. "Did I say something wrong?" "No, baby," Laurel managed. "You said exactly the right thing." Ruby's recovery was slow but steady. By April, she was back in school, her health restored, her energy boundless. But the experience had changed something fundamental in Laurel and Quincy's relationship. They'd faced a crisis together and emerged stronger, more committed. Quincy started spending most nights at Laurel's tiny apartment, despite having a mansion across town. He helped with Ruby's bedtime routine, read her stories, and patiently answered approximately 7 million questions about dinosaurs. "You're practically living here," Laurel observed one morning as Quincy made breakfast in her cramped kitchen. "Your toothbrush is in my bathroom. Your clothes are in my closet. You're here more than you're at your own place. Is that a problem?" "No. But Quincy, this apartment is tiny. You're used to space, luxury, all the things money provides. Doesn't this feel claustrophobic?" Quincy set down the spatula and pulled her close. "Home isn't about square footage or luxury. It's about where the people you love are. And you and Ruby are here. So this is where I want to be. Even in my run-down apartment with the heater that breaks constantly. Even then, though I do have a proposal." "What kind of proposal?" "Move in with me. You and Ruby. My house has plenty of space, a yard where Ruby could play, a neighborhood with good schools. You wouldn't have to worry about rent or broken heaters or any of it." Laurel pulled back. "I can't do that." "Why not?" Because it feels like I'm using you? Like I'm the gold digger everyone thinks I am. You're not using me. I'm offering because I want you close. Because I love waking up next to you and having breakfast with Ruby. Because I want to build a life with you. But people will talk. People are already talking. Let them. Laurel, I'm tired of letting other people's opinions dictate our choices. I want you with me. Not because you need my help, but because I need you. Both of you. You make me happy in ways I didn't know I could be happy. What about Ruby? This would disrupt her whole life. New school, new neighborhood, adjusting to living with you full time. That's a lot for a 6-year-old. So we ask her. Let her be part of the decision. But Laurel, I think you're using Ruby as an excuse because you're scared. And I get it. This is fast, it's big, it's changing everything. But sometimes the best things are scary. That evening, they sat Ruby down and explained Quincy's proposal. Ruby listened with wide eyes, then asked the most Ruby question possible. Would I have my own room? Yes, Quincy said. With space for all your dinosaurs and books? And a yard? A big yard? Maybe even room for a dog someday. A dog? Ruby's eyes lit up like Christmas morning. Mama, can we? Please? Laurel looked at her daughter's excitement, then at Quincy's hopeful face. Okay, let's try it. But slowly. We'll keep this apartment for now, just in case. And Ruby, if you don't like it, we can always come back. I'm going to like it, Ruby declared. Quincy makes the best pancakes, and he knows everything about dinosaurs, and he loves you, Mama. We should totally live with him. The logic of children was, once again, unassailable. How's this story hitting you so far? Tell us in the comments. If you're loving it, type 1. If not, type 0. We want to know what you think. Moving into Quincy's house was surreal. Laurel went from a 1-bedroom apartment to a 4-bedroom house with an actual yard, a gourmet kitchen, and more space than she knew what to do with. Ruby got her own room, painted her favorite purple, and immediately filled it with dinosaurs and books. But the adjustment wasn't seamless. Laurel struggled with feeling like a guest in someone else's home. She was uncomfortable asking Quincy for money, even for necessities. And she still worked at Fletcher's Diner, taking the bus every morning despite Quincy's offers to drive her or get her a car. You're being stubborn, Nina said over the phone one evening. The man wants to help you. Let him. I need to maintain some independence. Why? Because you're afraid people will say you're using him? Yes. Nina, you should see how his business associates look at me. Like I'm some trashy gold digger who trapped their friend. Who cares what they think? Quincy doesn't care. He loves you. But what if they're right? What if I am using him without realizing it? Girl, you work double shifts at a diner when you could quit tomorrow and let your billionaire boyfriend support you. You kept your apartment for 3 months, just in case. Even though Quincy begged you to give it up. You refused to let him buy you things beyond basic necessities. If that's gold digging, you're doing it wrong. Nina had a point, but Laurel's fears weren't easily quieted. The turning point came at Ruby's 7th birthday party in June. Quincy had wanted to throw an elaborate celebration, but Laurel insisted on something simple, a small party at their house with Ruby's school friends. They decorated the backyard with dinosaur-themed decorations, set up games, and made it special without being ostentatious. Todd showed up to drop off Ruby's birthday gift, his first real involvement since Christmas. He took in the house, the decorations, Quincy playing with the kids, and his expression soured. Quite an upgrade from your apartment, Todd said to Laurel. Playing house with your rich boyfriend. We're not playing house. We're building a life. Right. And when he gets tired of playing poor, where does that leave you and Ruby? That's not going to happen. You're naive, Laurel. Men like him don't stay with women like you. You're a charity case he'll eventually get bored with. Before Laurel could respond, Ruby appeared, tugging on Todd's arm. Daddy, come play. Quincy set up a dinosaur dig in the sandbox. Todd looked down at his daughter, really looked at her, and seemed to see her happiness for the first time. You like it here? I love it. Quincy taught me about fossils, and he lets me help make breakfast, and he reads me bedtime stories with different voices for every character. He's so cool, Daddy. Does he? Todd swallowed hard. Does he make your mom happy? Really happy. She smiles all the time now. She used to cry at night when she thought I was asleep. She doesn't anymore. Quincy makes her not sad. Todd met Laurel's eyes, and for the first time since their divorce, she saw something like regret. I'm glad you're happy, both of you. I'm sorry for being a jerk just now, and for everything else. Thank you, Todd. That means a lot. After Todd left, Quincy found Laurel in the kitchen, preparing birthday cake. You okay? I saw Todd was here. I'm good. Actually, I'm better than good. For the first time since we met, I'm not scared anymore. What changed? Watching you with Ruby's friends, seeing how natural you are with kids, how you've made this house a home for us. And Todd's reaction? He expected me to be miserable, to be struggling. Instead, he found us thriving. That felt good. Like I don't have to justify our relationship to anyone anymore. You never had to justify it. I know, but I needed to believe that myself, and now I do. Quincy set down the cake plates and pulled her close. I love you, Laurel Winters. I love your strength, your resilience, your refusal to let circumstances define you. And I love that you're finally letting yourself be happy. I love you too. And Quincy, I'm ready. Ready for what? For all of it. For building this life together. For letting you help me without feeling guilty. For trusting that this is real. I'm ready to stop being scared. Good. Because I have something to ask you. Quincy dropped to one knee right there in the kitchen, pulling out a small velvet box. Inside was a stunning but not ostentatious ring. Simple, elegant, perfect. Laurel Winters, you and Ruby have changed my life. You've taught me what really matters, what love actually looks like. I don't want to spend another day without knowing we're building this life permanently. Will you marry me? Laurel was crying, nodding before she could even speak. Yes, yes, absolutely yes. Ruby ran into the kitchen, followed by several of her friends. Did he do it? Did Quincy ask the question? You knew. Laurel laughed through her tears. He asked my permission last week. I said yes, obviously, because he's the best almost stepdad ever. As Quincy slipped the ring onto Laurel's finger, surrounded by 7-year-olds cheering and the smell of birthday cake, Laurel thought about how far she'd come. From the terrified single mom arriving 45 minutes late to a blind date, convinced no successful man would wait for her. But Quincy had waited. He'd seen past her circumstances to the woman she was, the potential they had together. He'd loved her when she couldn't love herself. He'd become a father figure to Ruby without being asked. He'd fought for their relationship when others questioned it. And now they were building something permanent, something real, something that proved love could transcend every barrier. Race, class, circumstance. What are you thinking? Quincy asked, holding her close while Ruby and her friends examined the ring with appropriate 7-year-old enthusiasm. I'm thinking about our first date. How I almost didn't show up because I was so late. How I thought you'd be gone. I told you I'd wait as long as necessary. You did. And you have. Thank you for waiting, Quincy. For seeing me when I felt invisible. Thank you for being worth waiting for.